Hey everybody, welcome back to Real Life Aging, where we're trying to change the way you age. I'm Kevin Klein. Today, a few weeks ago I talked about a very exciting opportunity for us to meet with a scientist, a medical researcher, somebody that has been working in the field of aging for a very long time, and not from a commercial perspective, but from a true research and medical perspective. So today we are in Tampa, Florida, on the grounds of the University of South Florida, where we are very fortunate to have some time with a lady who's not only a friend, but somebody who's very distinguished. In fact, beforehand I was saying I can't really properly introduce you because there's so much to say, but it's so important for people to know. So this is Dr. Paula Bickford. So Paula, thank you so much for being here, first of all.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm delighted to be able to share.
Well, this is a great opportunity for us. So, Liz, tell us all about what your background, because when it comes to aging, I mean, I think I'm an expert because I'm getting old, but you're an expert because you've been working in the field of aging for so long. So please tell us about that.
Yeah, so I actually have been working at the field of aging almost half of my life. So it's quite a long time because I think I'm older than you.
Just a little.
So, it's a very interesting area of research because, it affects all of us, and it's something that we're clearly learning a lot about. And
so your research has been your work, like you've been the president of the Aging Association of America. Mm-hmm. Is that correct? And here at USF, you're a professor.
Distinguished professor.
So I'm sorry, distinguished professor. You're still actively involved in laboratory research. Now, lab could be bench side. It's not necessarily what I remember from school, the test tubes and stuff.
Yeah, I don't spend that much time with the test tubes anymore. I spend most of my time thinking up the ideas and writing the grants to get the money so that the graduate students and the postdocs do all the work.
And you're also, one of the things you're also famous for is the discovery of the benefits of blueberries.
Yes.
Talk to me a little bit about that.
So many years ago, we were, talking about sort of aging. We were looking at, different ways of modulating the aging process. And we published a paper in the late 80s, 89, 90. One of the very first groundbreaking papers that said if older animals ate a diet enriched in blueberries or other foods that are rich in antioxidants, that it reversed some of the changes in their brain with aging. So we showed that if old animals ate this diet enriched in blueberries, that they got smarter.
And more blueberries.
Yeah, it actually reversed some of the cognitive deficits in the animals. And so that was, that got us in the New York Times.
You're famous for it. I mean, you can Google Dr. Paula Bickford and blueberries will come up. So did that research lead you then to stem cells? One of the things that I'm learning a lot on this, journey to change the way you age is a lot of discussions about stem cells. Some good, some bad. No one's really kind of figured it out. So you do a lot of work in the area of stem cells, but why are you focusing on stem cells when it's aging? Why are you doing that?
So what we've learned over the years, and we weren't fully looking at this in the beginning, but stem cells are in every part of your body, right? So they are responsible for regenerating your skin, regenerating the immune cells in your blood. They actually are responsible for keeping your hair the color that it is. So there's stem cells in your hair follicles.
So if you go gray, is that a lack of stem cells or just new stem cells coming in, or how does that work?
Stem cells get tired as you age.
They all do.
And so what happens is that the reason you turn gray is the stem cells in your hair follicles produce the melanin or the pigment that gives your hair color. So gray hair does come from the stem cells in your hair follicles not working properly. And so that's true for other parts of your body. I study mostly the brain, so it's also true in the brain. There's stem cells in the brain that are in parts of the brain that are responsible for learning and memory and various different actions within the brain. And so we've shown, in addition to some changes in just neuronal function of the neurons that are already there, that you get fewer new neurons as you get older. But then things like blueberries, or we actually have worked on a product that combines blueberries, green tea, vitamin D3, and carnosine, which is an amino acid, that's synergized to have even a better effect than blueberries alone on stimulating the stem cells in our body as we get older.
So this is a product that you've actually put on the marketplace.
Yes.
And it's called Nutra Stem, and we'll put in the on the comment section of this video where people can get a hold of this product called NeutrStem. I want to be brutally honest about this product. I mean, you hear a lot about supplements, right? And at one point, I think I must have had 30 supplements that I was taking. But I'm taking NeutrStem, have been for months now. It's hard to say if it's working or not working because you feel better, so I'm assuming that it's working.
Right.
But my mother and father-in-law, who are well into their 80s, take it religiously. They love the product. They just think that they're much better. They actually believe they're much better off than some of their friends that are similar age because they've been taking the product. They're very active, but they're active. They're cognitively, if that's the right term, cognitively active. They're playing games more often. They feel that they're not having the same memory loss or issues that some of their friends are having, and that's because they truly believe it's because they're taking that product. Is that? I mean, I know it's your product. You're going to say yes, but
Yes.
but in a as a scientist and as a researcher, is that really what's happening?
Well, so we've done a few clinical studies. We've done one study that demonstrated that even elderly people that are not cognitively impaired, just normal, regular people over the age of 65, show some benefit in cognitive function when they take this product. And so, we can't rely on just one or two people saying, "Oh, I feel better."
Right.
So we actually did a good study.
So how does that work then? Like, because you talked about stem cells. So there are stem cells as we get older. You said they get tired. Mm-hmm. Do we lose them? Does this help bring new stem cells in?
So what happens is stem cells. There's a pool of stem cells that are in these places, in these niches in the body. And it seems to be that we don't lose the number of stem cells, which is really good news. They just don't divide as fast, and so they don't, there's not as many of them being made to do the things that they need to do. And so what this product does is to increase the proliferation of those cells so that then it can they can be active, they can do what they're supposed to do. So they're also important in sort of endogenous repair. So if you get hurt somehow, if you injure yourself, stem cells are really important in the repair process in your body as well.
So now if I go back to what I remember learning in science or in health, the body, your body basically reproduces itself every year. Is that correct? Like your cell, that's kind of layman look at it, but is that the stem cells?
Yeah, there's a lot of turnover of cells in your body. And so, the stem cells are the ones that give rise to the cells. Some of the sort of skin cells also divide too, or other things, but the stem cells are the source of the replenishment of all of those cells.
So one of the things that I'm also very keen on is saying that this isn't about living forever, right? This is just about, like you said before we even started, healthy aging. Is it just people want to enjoy the last half of their life, and I think even more so now. As soon as I hit that plateau of 50, it was kind of, oh goodness gracious, that's a big number. And then as that number gets higher every year, it's like, this is really getting bad. But so you want to enjoy that part of your life. So somebody who's an expert in healthy aging, What do you suggest people do? I mean, there's got to be some things you can do today that would improve that process of aging.
I mean, a lot of these things we kind of are like the right? I mean, eat well.
Yeah.
Avoid, all these lot of processed foods.
Right.
Exercise.
The basics.
The basics.
The things that are hard to do.
The things none of us really want to do.
Right.
But, and then, taking supplements if you need to, if you feel, can also just boost that as well. And, keeping active, keeping mentally active.
What are, when you say supplements, let's spend a couple seconds on that. What are the supplements that people should be taking? I mean, I guess it varies from person to person.
Right. So it's always, I think, when I talk a lot about this, there's things like fish oils and omega fatty acids that are really good for you. And those help also to sort of strengthen your body. And there's good research on a number of different sort of supplements that you can take. You want to make sure that the source of them is ethical.
Right.
That's my point of view.
No, I understand that. And much like your product is, I guess the NeutrStem product is, checked and rechecked. And,
yeah.
It's one of those products you can feel fairly confident about in taking.
Yeah.
And I want to go back to these supplements. You're talking about the fish oil. I take, omega-3s. I have for years flaxseed oil.
Right.
And flaxseed, ground flaxseed, because I, a long time ago had met somebody in the field, an oncologist. But he was saying that flaxseed is kind of, he made his kids start taking raw flaxseed at the age of 5. And they've been taking their whole life. And, just kind of promotes good health. Mm-hmm. And better aging. And you're right. The toxic food almost that we've been eating for so long, which is easy to get and tastes good.
And tastes good. We're all addicted to sugar. Not all of us, but many people are addicted to sugar. I've heard it said that it's almost as addictive as cocaine, or even I saw one place that said it's more addictive than cocaine.
I would buy that. I believe that. Chocolate. My goodness,
There's nothing wrong with chocolate.
The milk chocolate?
The dark chocolate without a lot of sugar in it.
Dark chocolate.
Because there's the dark chocolates without the sugar, the cocoa, the pure cocoa or cacao, has been shown to have benefits for your heart and your cardiovascular system.
So let's talk about that then. You talked about aging as being, eating properly, eating, I guess, organic foods, not necessarily, but vegetables and, a balanced meal.
Yeah.
Raw?
Not always raw, but what's the best word, I guess, is not processed.
Not processed. Water, drink lots of water. These are all the basics things. What if there was 3 things you could say, in your field of aging that you're learning that people are not doing enough of? I guess those would be the 3, like exercising, mind, like because I've heard you say a lot of times, even before we were doing this, work your mind.
Yeah.
And that's very important.
Keeping your mind active. Crossword puzzles, challenging, keep reading, interesting things, try to learn something new every day.
Yeah. So, and you're telling me that will help with the aging process, and that will help with your cognitive function.
Yeah. There's actually many studies that have shown that keeping your brain active and is very, very helpful in terms of, it's sort of use it or lose it. Like, it's the same with your muscles in your body.
Right.
It's the same with your brain.
So it's the equal, they're on the same platform. What about with the, I want to go back to the stem cells because we're talking about this, exercise, healthy diet, will that help your stem cells? Like for people that are going gray, or will changing this pattern of their life today, will that make a difference right away for them?
It can.
It can.
I can't promise that if you've gone gray, that if you start exercising and take supplements, that you're going to lose your gray hair.
So this is what I love the most about Dr. Bickford and her team is they're always very careful to say, I'm not going to promise. Like, because there's so many products that come out on the market now. I mean, I see products in the market where they're guaranteeing, we're going to take your testosterone from here to here in just 2 days, take these pills, or
right.
You can lose 80 pounds and do nothing.
2 days.
Yeah. You don't have to exercise, you don't have to get off the couch, you don't have to change your diet, the way you live, you'll lose 80 pounds in 2 days. Like I like the fact that you're very open and honest about that, because honestly, I mean, you research a lot of products and you're a researcher. None of these claims can be.
Most of the claims are a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
I'm being kind.
You're being very kind, very, very kind. So when we got off track, and that's my fault. But getting back to the stem cells, so doing that, those changes to your diet, one of the things that we're working on that I want to ask you about is intermittent fasting. Mm-hmm. Because this seems to be one of the big things that, one of the trends, if you will. And I don't want it to be a trending thing. What do you think of that?
I'm actually been researching it a little bit myself, and I'm considering doing it myself.
I'm on it. In a week.
Because either that or the one where you only eat for 6 hours or 8 hours a day.
That's the one I'm referring to.
Talking
Sorry,
about
that's
that there's more
fasting.
and more research that I've seen, and it's convincing me that I'm about to begin that myself.
Is that right? It's not that hard. The first couple days you have to get. You know what I think it did for me is it eliminated. It's only been a week. I mean, it's not like it's good evidence, but it's really eliminated the potential of snacking at night.
Yeah.
Because I have a clock, right? And if it's past that time, Heather will go, point at your watch, you're past the time. I gotta wait, 16 hours or 18 hours, whatever that time is, right? It seems like forever, but after a week, it seems, it's easy to follow.
Yeah.
And they say, the research that I've read, and obviously you know more than I, that does help, again, generate the stem cells in your body and rejuvenate them, if you will.
And it helps to, it seems to do a lot of things that are very healthy for your body.
Right.
Because there's other research that this seems to be mimicking also in terms of sort of, there's a lot of research on what's called caloric restriction.
Yes, I was going to ask you about that. Okay.
And it's for years, that was one of the very first things that scientists had been looking at that extended the lifespan of many, many different species. Rats, mice, little worms,
wow.
And even they're doing some work in primates. It's a little bit less clear in primates, but it definitely has positive benefits. And even some humans. And that amount of caloric restriction is quite restrictive, but it seems as if this intermittent fasting can reproduce some of the same effects of caloric restrictions. You can eat almost as much as you want,
right?
Within
period.
reason,
yeah. And not
within
all
that,
sugar and
not all sugar and high fructose corn syrup and
which obviously
trans
tastes
fats.
So does that put you in? And I think you had taught me this before, but it puts you into a ketosis state, or?
I'm not. I haven't done enough research. So there's two different diets. One is you don't eat any sugar, and you eat a lot of fat.
Right.
Increased fat. It's even more severe than the Atkins diet, where you actually go into ketosis.
Oh wow. Okay.
Which is not the same as when a diabetic goes into ketoacidosis, so it's not dangerous.
Okay.
People get confused about that. And so you go into ketosis, and so your body starts burning ketones instead of sugar. And there seems to be some benefits in that. There's actually someone else here at the University of South Florida who's studying that extensively.
Right.
In terms of sort of effects on cancer and things like
Really?
that. Yeah.
And there is some literature that's talking about the benefits of intermittent fasting and different variations of fasting, saying that the body seems to heal itself better when you follow these programs, because it's giving it time to actually repair.
Yeah.
But when you're constantly on that 3 meals a day, you're snacking or whatever, your body's busy dealing with the food and all that you're taking in, so it doesn't have time to repair. That seems to make sense.
Right.
It seems to make sense. And it's interesting because here we are, and here you've been in the field for years. And I saw a commercial, and I wish I could remember the product name, but it was brilliant because it started out with a little boy sitting on the grass saying, you're going to get one car, but you're only allowed one car for your entire life. You get to pick the car, and but you never will get another one. Like, this is the only car ever. How are you going to take care of it?
Right.
And this was for, I think it was 23andMe, one of those products.
Oh, right.
But to me, it really, bells rang off. I thought, this is the most brilliant commercial I've ever seen, in the sense that you're right. Because I never thought of taking care of my body until I got over 50.
That's pretty typical.
So, and I guess the whole population, we're all aging now, and that's putting a lot of pressure on the medical system. Mm-hmm. So we need to make some changes today. So what do you, now that you're in the field, with knowing you're in that field, what is it that you want to discover? What is it that's driving you to be in the aging field? What are you looking for next? What is Dr. Bickford's aha moment?
So I think it's all of what we've been talking about is also letting people know, getting the information out there that there's very, very simple things that you can do in order to have a healthy aging lifestyle. So that some of it are lifestyle changes, some of it are just attitude changes, and they're not expensive.
Right, because we've run a couple of programs where comments online have been, oh, well, that's going to cost a fortune, or why can't you just find something that's not expensive to do? So you found those things.
Yeah, and so it's I think it's fascinating, and we're continuing to do research on many, many different things, and there's a lot of exciting things on the frontier. I don't think they're ready for prime time yet.
Got
So
it. I understand. Why aging though? Like, tell me why are you doing it? You're not doing it to live forever either, because I know we've had that conversation. But
no, I'm not doing it to live.
Why is it the field you chose?
I think, it partly started from my grandmother.
Really?
Yeah. When I was, my grandmother had Alzheimer's disease.
I'm sorry.
And, even when I was young, in high school and, college, I saw her, going downhill and not aging gracefully. And, and then, she didn't recognize everybody.
Right.
And, it was very sad. And then my own parents,
Right.
My mother also had not Alzheimer's disease, but age-related, cognitive deficits, severe cognitive deficits.
So.
And so it's like, so partly it's personal.
Right.
But at the same time, it's also, if I can learn something and I can be a benefit, I can use it for myself, but it's also a benefit for other people.
That's a wonderful thing. I think that's beautiful. I'm sorry to hear about your family, but that I think that's the passion that boils the passion inside you, and why you're doing such great work. So I think your grandmother and your mom would be incredibly proud of NeutrStem then, right?
My mom took NeutrStem.
Did she? Did she love it?
She did love it. My dad loved it more, but and my sisters still take it.
And you obviously you must still take it.
I do.
You still take
Yeah.
it, and so. Next down, you don't want to talk about, but next thing down the line could be another product that will help just with healthy aging. Again, not the whole scary I want to live forever, but I want to age and enjoy the second half of your life.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're doing. I know Dr. Bickford as a friend, which is great. Thank you so much for our friendship, but also I've learned so much from you and just having various conversations, and I appreciate you taking the time to do this as well.
No problem. I'm so happy to have been able to have the chance to talk to you today.
Thank you.
Thank you.